Hey guys, zoidbergenstein here with a series of videos chronicling NUC's journey from brand new World of Tanks team all the way to as far through the WGLNA as we can make it. Today's match is going to go back to week 2 of the WGLNA Preseason on steps. We're going to be up against one of Sturm Grenadiers teams, and they're running double T32, double 1390, and a WZ132. We're going to be running two 5100s, a Pershing, and two 1390s. Now, before the action gets started, let's take a look at why both these teams are running these compositions that they chose to run. First, we're going to look at SG's comp. That double T32 provides them a very defensive group of tanks. Those T32s, when they go hull down, are almost impossible to penetrate. Now, our 5100s, our 1390s, and even our Pershing are very easy to penetrate, so they're going to be able to take a hull down position where only their turret is visible and shell us, which means it's going to be very, very difficult to push into them. Now, one of the drawbacks of the T32 is it's a lot slower than the IS-3, and its body is very easy to pen. So as long as we can get engaged with that T32 somewhere where it's not in hull down, we do feel confident in our ability to beat that. They're also running two 1390s and a WZ. With this map being as wide open as it is, it's very important to have light tanks. If we manage to get a couple T1 kills and sneak a T1 onto their cap, without light tanks it can be very difficult to get back and defend a cap on this map. The reason they run that extra WZ instead of a third 1390 is for an early engagement. If that WZ, which is not an autoloader, sees a 1390, he can take shots before that 40-second reload time of the 1390. At the same time, one of the drawbacks of the WZ is that after that first 40 seconds is up, there's almost no advantage over a 1390. So if you don't engage early and try and beat a 1390, there's almost no point in having a WZ over that extra 1390. Now in our comp, we're running two 5100s, and even to date, we still crutch ourselves on these 5100s. You're going to see them in almost every single one of our preseason matches because they are such good tanks, and they've been such an integral part of us learning how to play. We do use them a bit too often. As we push into more Gold League matches, we need to start moving away from these 5100s, but for a lot of these preseason matches where we're playing teams that aren't at that standard of play, they're very, very effective. We set those 5100s back, and we try and allow them to come into us and get some early shots. We also have two 1390s. The reason we run those 1390s is, like I mentioned earlier, this is such a wide open map. Without the 1390s or other light tanks, you can really find yourself either set in defense where you can't push because they're going to get a cap and you might end up being forced into a draw, or if you do push, they can sneak a T1 back under your cap and not be able to do anything about it. Additionally, those light tanks give us, like you're going to see in this map, the ability to flank very effectively. On this map, we do like to run a Pershing as well. The Pershing has great view range. It holds down moderately well, but I don't know that that was the best choice for this map. You can see that we're set up in a very defensive position here. Steps is probably the map we're the least experienced on. When we were keeping track of our team battle statistics, we would rarely see Steps more than once a night. We've never scrimmed on this map, so we were really not quite sure what to expect. We tried to watch some videos, figure out what the top teams in Russia, what the top teams in Europe are doing, and tried to emulate a little bit of that. What we decided to do is play in this defensive set for the first 5 minutes and hope that someone pushes into us like you see these SG guys doing. Once we get spots on them, we're able to shift and surround them. Now, had they not pushed into us here, we do have a push that we would have tried to orchestrate, which is very similar to what SG is going to end up doing to us. We'd shift over to the east, we'd push through, and then we'd try to snipe them off their flag if they're playing that hard defensive turtle. One of the things that really shows our inexperience at World of Tanks is our lack of understanding of positions like you're about to see me play. This is just a little bit of a hill out in the middle of a field. It looks completely wide open, but the angle of the terrain makes it very difficult for me to be shot by anything without the rest of our team being able to punish them. It's very easy to say, oh look, here's a rock, I've got hard cover, I can't be shot by anyone from that angle. At least for us, it's been a little bit harder to discover positions like this, where I may not have hard cover, but because of the sloping of the terrain, I'm not going to be able to be shot. One of the best ways to find positions like this, if you don't want to sit on a map all day with someone just experimenting, is to watch more experienced teams play. WGLNA shoutcasts a lot of matches. You can go watch the top North American teams play these spots. The WGLs from the other regions do the same thing. We watch a lot of Navi. And what we like to do is we'll take a look at the tank that we're going to be playing in a match. So let's say I'm on Himmelsdorf and I play 5100. I can go watch one of those experienced teams who's been playing for a very long time and say, oh, this guy moves to this position. I wonder why he plays there. Then I move into a training room, I go check out that position, and I can see, oh wow, look at all the angles that I have, and it really, really helps improve my play. It's something that everyone who wants to get in the competition should absolutely do, because it's going to help you eventually come up with your own strategies that can beat these teams. Looking at the map, you can see that we've encircled them. They have to move down into the ravine to escape shots. If anyone peeks up for a shot, we will have an angle to shoot them from. We've got one of their tanks down to 50% HP. We've only received one shot ourselves, and we are set up in a position where we can push. We've got our two 1390s south of them. We have our two 5100s north, and we have that Pershing who's looking at them as well. What we're going to try and do here is move our 1390s in against their light tanks, and then send our 5100s and our Pershing on their T-32s. We'll burn the T-32s down, and then once we escape, those 1390s will not have the firepower to bring all of our tanks down. Now that's a little backwards from how we'd normally do it. We don't like to leave autoloaders alive to get into a second reload. We would usually try and take out the autoloaders and then run away from those T-32s because they are slow-moving tanks. Because of their position and the fact that they're T-32s with great hold-down positions on this map, we do go for them first. Now because we have two 5100s and a Pershing moving into these guys, we're going to be able to burn them down very quickly. I unload my first 4 shots into this T-32. He's going to die. I'm going to turn on the second T-32. He won't die for my magazine, but Lost and Zuzi will be able to finish him off. And I do apologize, guys. I know that their icon says that they're dead. I recorded this after the 9.0 patch had dropped. These matches were played before the 9.0 patch dropped, so occasionally you see a few graphical issues. Some tanks appear dead when they're not actually dead. But I can assure you that T-32 does eventually die from Lost and Zuzi, and we back out and get into our second reloads. Now this was a very, very strong engagement for us. We were able to kill both T-32s. We also got a WZ. That leaves them with two 1390s, one at about half hit points, the other at full. We only lost one tank in the start of that engagement. Sero died on that engagement, and Nafe is actually about to die. He's trying to get back to a position where our 5100s can unload into that 1390, but unfortunately we're both in reloads. Now when that 1390 kills Nafe, we know where the other one is. We know that we can move behind this hard cover, play defensively, and then push when we're ready. We do not have to do anything based on what they want to do. And in fact, because of our HP difference, we definitely don't want to. Those 1390s have a lot of potential damage in a magazine, and even though we have two 5100s which will do more damage, I'm at one-shot range, so we really have to make sure that we engage this last fight intelligently, or else we could end up throwing a match where we do have a fairly significant lead. We're going to push so that they have no escape. We've got Zuzi moving up, so if they run down that ravine, he'll have shots. We have Lost pushing, so that if they push into me, he'll have shots. And I'm going to play the far back position since I can only take one shot from those 1390s. We do see one. We put a little bit of damage into him. Again, he does just die. He wasn't dead initially. And then we're going to start burning down the second 1390. I take a hit, but Lost at full HP is able to get another shot into him. Zuzi comes from behind, making sure that he can't escape, and we get the kill on the 1390. That leaves us with 3 minutes and 2 tier 1s. We have this basically locked up, but something that's very important to keep in mind is you have to win out. Even though we have 2 tier 8s left, 2 tier 1s, if we don't either kill that final tier 1 or cap out, we lose. So we're going to move to make sure that we win. We move our tanks to the cap. A T1 can actually reset a 5100, which is something that we have to be a little bit careful of, but with the Pershing and that 5100 on cap, if he does get the reset, we're going to get the kill on him. So all we really have to do at this point is move tanks onto that cap and make sure we get it. Had we sent all of our tanks looking for that T1, it is possible that we could have tied, but no good team is ever going to do that. So let's look at exactly what happened in this match that gave us the win. Our first engagement was really fun to watch from the 1390 side. They did a great job pushing in, keeping their light tanks out of the fight, which gave us a mismatch against their T-32s. We also got early damage in. We put a lot of damage into that WZ early, so when our 1390s did engage, even though they were pushing into a 2-on-3 fight, they were able to kill that WZ, and in the initial engagement, they traded 1 for 1 against 3 tanks, and then their second 1390 did have to push out of position in order to get Nafe, which allowed us to get our position and end the fight. In the engagement, when we moved our Pershing and our 5100s into the T-32s, we were able to move them out and get into the second reload. Now, 5100s do have that significant damage increase over 1390s, but we're not as mobile. So we were able to take away the advantage of the mobile 1390s and the WZ and the hold down ability of their T-32s, which gave our team composition a distinct advantage in this match. Thank you guys for watching. That is going to do it for today. Now that I'm feeling better and I've beat the PAX Pox, these videos should be coming out rapidly again. I've actually got 2 more recorded that I'll probably get up. If not 2 today, then maybe 2 tomorrow. Thank you guys again for watching. Don't forget, like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow me on Twitter at zoidbergenstein, and I will see you guys in my next match breakdown.